Hello, welcome to your workout today. So we have Build That Base. It's the B workout of the ABCs of fitness. It's 30 minutes of lower body strength-based workout. We have a little focus on hamstrings and glutes today. In terms of equipment, what you need are some dumbbells. If you have lighter and heavier options, grab out your options and adjust according to how you're finding the exercise. Something to use as your fitness step. The side of the sofa or a side of coffee table, side of a sturdy chair would be perfect. And then mini loop resistance bands. You might have more than one band, sometimes they come in a set, don't worry if you don't. You may find to get more, you can double up your bands or not, depending on what you have to use. Bands are always optional. You can, of course, just do the motion with a strong muscular connection. Okay. So let's get us started with our warm-up. It's nice and quick, just 30 minutes today, so we'll get us moving. We're going to come into some hip cars. We're going to raise one leg, come on round the side and lower. Feel free to hold on to the wall or some furniture if you need to. We want controlled rotations here, governed by muscular strength. So you're really bringing that leg right up and using that hip flexor at the front of the hip to hold the leg high as you rotate, doing your best not to twist your body. Lovely. Same on the other side. Holding on if you need. Here we go. Nice big circles. Keep hips and ribs as square to the front as you can. So the structure of the workout today is that we have 3 circuits. Each circuit has 3 exercises within it. We're going to try and do the first 2 circuits 3 times through and the final circuit twice through. Well done there. Last one of those hip circles. Good job you. A little softness to both knees, a little mini sort of quarter squat. Core zips up and we're coming here. Up and out to the side, think doggy against a tree, it's an abduction, and we're trying to squeeze your outer hip and outer glute. Keep your toe facing the front more or less, and doing your best not to lean away as you raise the leg. Squeeze it up, outer hip and outer glute, zipping up core. Feels like zipping up from pubic bone to belly button. Nice, taking one more here. Lovely, and quite simply switching over, same on the other leg. The little quarter squat, and away, directly to the horizontal, not forward, not backward with the angle of your leg, zipping up from pubic bone to belly button so you have a strong and solid core centre there, doing your best not to lean away, lovely, and one more here to balance out the leg work. Fabulous, we're coming a little wider, we're going to get a little bit of a stretch in the inner hip, inner groin, inseam of the leg. We're coming from one side to the other, squatting our bottom backwards slightly as we do so, easing down with a tall chest. Good, to the point where you feel that lovely stretch in the inseam of the leg. Just ensure your heels are somewhat glued into the floor as you do this. Wonderful. Last couple. Low and slow to the base point of that move. Fabulous. Up you come. Wriggling the feet somewhat. Regular squat. So I'll show you side on, nothing weird or wacky here, just a nice regular squat. Bending at the knees, sitting bottom backward, as if you're sitting onto a bench or a step or a sofa behind you. Nice tall chest, just waking up these leg muscles, getting going with our knee flexion. Good. Last couple here. Well done you, good, up you come, perfect. Back of the legs, our hamstrings, we're going to give them a nice dynamic stretch. Take a big X shape. We're sending the hips back with a long flat back. Opposite hand to opposite toe, then forward you come. Same but on the other side. Well done. And then just flowing through those, sending the hips way back behind you for a stretch in your back of leg each time. If you feel you have a tighter side, one of your back of legs is tighter than the other, lean into the stretch on that side. That's the side that probably needs or wants the stretch a little more. Good job. Thinking about it as hips hinging back or bottom going back, not body bending forward. Hinge the hips back. Last couple here. Well done, and finally, up you come. Last one in our warm up, we're coming forward into lunges. One leg then the other. Easing down into the lunges. You could have arms working, coming out to the sides as you go. You could have hands on hips. Or you could just be holding your arms where, feels appropriate for you to keep you balanced and steady. You want to think about front leg strong. Front leg taking on the load of the move. Front leg pushing you back up to the top. And aware of your hips, knees, toes being as square to the front as you can. Don't let the front leg buckle across. Almost there. And again, last couple. Brilliant job. Up you come. Good. Hope you're feeling like the blood is whizzing around the body a little bit. The knees and the hips and the ankles have all been mobilised and moved. They're feeling a little bit more malleable and ready to go. I'm going to set up our timer here, just in front of my mat. We're working to 45 seconds on, 15 seconds rest. The 45 seconds on, don't let that rush you. You're not trying to do HIIT. It's just a way of breaking up our exercises. Strong, confident, muscular movements, not rushed at the expense of doing it in a slapdash way. We're starting aside what you're using as your step, with your back on the step. Here you could use a dumbbell, but you do not have to. I'm just grabbing out my dumbbell option. We're doing a single-legged hip thrust to start. I'll just show you quickly. Back is on the step, wide arms, they could be 90 degrees at the elbows. One leg elevates, and it's hips down, hips up. Okay, here we go. Hips down, hips up. So your shoulder blades are on the step, and everything south of your shoulder blades are like off the front of your step. And just reiterating, the side of your sofa is usually about the perfect height for this. At the top of the move, you want to have a vertical shin where your knee is above your ankle. So if you're wondering where to put your foot, you don't want it too close in, you don't want it too far away, you want it so that your knee is above your ankle at the top of the move. Think of it as hips down, hips up. Don't think of it as your bottom coming closer to your heel. It's almost like the bottom actually stays quite close to the side of your step. Nice. Same with the other leg coming up. Depending on how you're finding it, you could put a dumbbell in the crook of the hip as you do the exercise on the pushing leg side. So core zips up you go to the top, you elevate the leg which is passive, which is doing nothing, and it's hips down, hips up by pushing through the foot that's on the floor, particularly the heel of the foot that's on the floor. Get to that top point. And at the point of pause, you're trying to fire muscular tension into your back of your leg and your bum cheek of the pushing leg. If you can, working slowly on the way down and up with purpose.
10 seconds.
Good. Core muscles anchor in at the top of the move. Almost there. Down we come. Lovely. We are slowly but surely coming up for alternating leg reverse lunges. Do come up slowly if you think you're going to get a head rush. Well done. Broad chest, zipping up the core. I'll show you side on. We've got one leg lunges back, the other leg lunges back. Bending at the knee. The front leg is the working leg, the loaded leg. You can use dumbbells. You could use body weight. You could half your load and hold one dumbbell across the top of the chest. If your knees do not like lunging at all, then go for a tap back. Tap back like this. So this is your option, tap backs if you don't like lunging. Ultimately, the more you practice the lunges with control, with connection to glutes and quads, the better supported they'll be. You'll become stronger for them and they'll eventually you'll be able to do them. Nice. Up you come. We find our way back to the start. I'll show you the option here. So we're back to those single-legged hip thrusts. If they do not work for you, the option is single-legged from the floor, like so. Okay. So we have our back across the front of your step. What you're using is your step. Hips down, hips up. You want the
Shin nice and vertical, so you have the knee directly above the ankle at the top of the move. You pause for a puff out at the top of the move. And at that point, you're firing up, you're driving muscular tension into your back of leg and the bum cheek squeeze, glute squeeze of your pushing leg side.
10 seconds.
You want to descend with control and drive up with purpose. It should get quite heavy in the back of the leg. Nearly there.
Rest.
Good job, you. Down you come. Same on the other side. So if you're using a dumbbell, the dumbbell is in the crook of the hip and you hold the inner head of the dumbbell so that it doesn't slide off down the side of your leg. Okay.
Let's go.
All the way up you come. The lifting leg does nothing. So we don't want the lifted leg to pull you up at all. You want to keep that lifted leg as passive as can be. It's all about pushing into the heel of the foot that's on the floor. Very specifically the heel, so you could even be light in the balls of your toes.
Halfway there.
You could even take your toes off the floor of the leg that has its foot on the floor. Remember the split second of pause at the top? It's also a second to
10
check
seconds.
that your hips are level with one another and square with the ceiling. Descend with control, push with purpose. Nearly there.
Rest.
Down we come. So they get quite heavy in the back of the leg. Well done you. Again, slowly, come on up. You can come up halfway, take a breath, eventually come up all the way. We've got alternating reverse lunges. Broad chest, lunging back. One leg then the other, at the pace that is appropriate for you. I always think fewer done well with a deep range of motion is much better than lots of them done in a half lungy way. As you lunge backward, the awareness of your knee
Halfway there.
being as square to the front as can be. We don't want this knee buckling in, open from the hip so that it's nice and square. Also glue into the heel of your front
10
foot.
seconds.
Imagine slightly descending into the heel of your front foot. Broad chest, zipped up core. Nice job you.
Rest.
Well done. Third and final coming up, so you know where we're heading. We start with our single-legged hip thrusts. Weighted with a dumbbell if you can in the crook of the hip. Your option if they are not available
Let's go.
is from the floor. So if you're not doing hip thrusts, you've got this option, hip bridges. If you're with me, doing the hip thrusts, it's slow on the way down, up with a bit of purpose. Control the descent, drive strongly at the top, to the top. A little pause at the top point.
Halfway
And at
there.
that point of pause, firing up muscular tension into your back of leg and glute. Checking in the core is secure. Ideally, chin to chest.
10 seconds.
Nearly there. Again, by the third round here, it's tough. That leg is heavy, I know. Yeah.
Rest.
And a breath. Good job. Maybe there's a stretch toward the foot there for a little bit of back of leg release. Last time this move. Same on the other side. So your wide arms
Let's go.
up to the top. Elevate the passive leg. Then hips down, hips up. Pushing through the heel of the foot that is glued to the floor. At the top point, a little pause where you're firing muscular engagement, muscular tension into your back of leg and glute of your pushing leg.
Halfway there.
You want to think about descending to the floor rather than descending forward to your heel. Core
10
anchors in.
seconds.
At the top, chin to chest ideally, and I know the neck muscles have worked. We're nearly there. I know they have to hold your own head. That's it. Good. So that one is done. It's ticked off. Again, maybe there's a little stretch reaching toward the toes for the back of leg. Come on up. Come slowly up if you think you're going to have a head rush. We've got the lunges
Let's go.
on the end. So broad chest and shoulders. Abdominals anchored in. It's one leg, then the other lunging backward with The centre of gravity held in your front leg. So the front leg strength lowers you down under control. Remember to glue the whole of the front foot into the floor. So you shouldn't just be in the balls of toes. Your heel should glue into the floor. And you should feel for a little bit of muscular tension in the glute of the front leg. So the glute is helping out. Keep broad chest, keep core secure. We are nearly there. Nice job, you. Done. So first circuit complete, ticked off. During the next countdown timer, we are resting. So just a chance to catch your breath, have a sip of water.
Let's go.
Well done, you. Okay, so we are continuing to work on the side of our fitness step. And again, side of sofa is perfect if you don't have a fitness step.
Halfway there.
Here we want to have our band or bands at the ready. And we are going to band around the knees
10 seconds.
for the first 2 exercises of the trio. So the band pulls up and it's not on the knee joint but just above the knees.
Rest.
We're doing a hip thrust, which looks like this. Your back is on the sofa and it's up and down, up and down. If for some reason that doesn't work for your body, then the same but from the floor. Okay?
Let's go.
Nice. Now you can have a dumbbell across your hip bones, or you could have 2 dumbbells, one in the crook of each hip, holding the inner head of the dumbbell. The dumbbells are slanted slightly outwardly. Glute squeeze at the top. Broad knees against the band.
Halfway there.
And this is important. At the top of the move, your tailbone tucks under. So your pelvis tucks under, as if you're trying to angle your pubic bone toward your belly button. And at that point, you do a really strong glute clench, bum cheek squeeze. Nearly there. Well done, you.
Rest.
Gently down. If you've been using dumbbells, you can continue with them. You could come to 1 dumbbell across the hips. You could be body weight only. We're coming to the top of your hip thrust position.
Let's go.
So you're rooting into your heels, you're tucking your tailbone under, and your glute squeezing strongly. Zip up from pubic bone to belly button. Then we're going out and in with the knees. Out and in, out and in, out and in. Nice and fluidly. Core zips up. We are abducting. We're trying to use the outer hips and outer glutes. You want to clench your glutes together to the midline, towards each other, to the middle. You want to limit your hips from sinking. So you want to really elevate the hips with the tailbone tucked under all the way through the outs and ins here. Nice job. Down you come. The band wriggles off. So you have just a few seconds here to wriggle out of that band. They're never easy to get in and out of, are they? No elegant way. We're coming on up. Dumbbells.
Let's go.
If you're still okay to work with dumbbells, we're doing a curtsy lunge to one side and to the other. Curtsy lunge to one side and to the other. Now your curtsy lunge is a backward lunge with a slight crossover of your feet, of your foot position. You want to descend with control, and you definitely want to descend into the heel of your front foot. We're trying to get a stretch out sensation or an extended muscle position of the glute of the front leg. Your pace, descend with control, feel for the glute stretch. Nice, up you come. Same trio, second time. So back, with your back against your fitness step or your sofa. Remember the option is there to do it from the floor, up and down, if you need.
Let's go.
Okay. So we are up and down. If you haven't managed to wriggle your band on, don't worry, because it's actually the second move of the circuit where we need it most. So here we are with the idea of driving into your heels, scooping your pelvis under, tucking your tailbone under at the top of the move.
Halfway there.
When you tuck your tailbone under at the top, the aim is not to get your hips as high as possible. If you were like this, you'd have a very nasty feeling lower
10
back.
seconds.
You want to get your hips to about the height of your knee and then tuck your pelvis under with a strong glute squeeze to secure that top point.
Rest.
Down we come. So if you're banded, brilliant. If like me, you haven't had a chance yet, the band comes on now. You can continue using your dumbbells or dumbbell. Remember, you might be like this, but you might be doing it from the floor with your back on the floor. We're holding at the top with a glute squeeze and we're out and in with your knees. So the knees drive outwardly against your band, but at the same time, your glutes squeeze toward each other, toward the center. If you don't have a band, don't worry at all, just go for a really strong glute squeeze. If you need to support the neck slightly, that's fine. The work of the move is this idea of clench your glutes
10 seconds.
and continually tuck your tailbone under. You're doing your best not to let your glutes sink, not to let your hips sink. Good job, you.
Rest.
Down you come. So glutes have been contracting. We are now going to extend them, to stretch them, to work them in a lengthened position. And it's so important that you do both to your muscles during your training.
Let's go.
So dumbbells, if you're still using them, please remember you could be one dumbbell held across the front of the chest, or you could be body weight only. We are easing down and backward, and we're going to keep our centre of gravity with our front leg. So I'll just show you side on. As you lunge back, don't let this happen. We're not coming backward with our centre of gravity. Wait to stay with our front leg, and it's quite a long stride back with a slight crossover. Descend into the heel of your front foot, core secure, broad chest. Well done, you. Nice job. Third and final. Okay, so remember these hip thrusts, you could be doing them off the side of your step or sofa, or you could be doing them from the floor with your back on the floor.
Let's go.
Okay, it's both legs at the same time. We're up and down. Tucking your tailbone under at the top of the move so that your pubic bone is sort of angled toward your belly button, and then you can really zip up the core, anchoring in the abs that are south of the belly button. A little pause at the top of each hip thrust,
Halfway
and
there.
at that point of pause, getting a very conscious clench of bum cheeks, trying to make sure right and left glute are clenching with the same effort.
10 seconds.
You want, again, the idea of the knee vertically above the ankle at the top of the move. Nearly there, this one.
Rest.
Brilliant. A breath. So we're holding at the top, and we've got outs and ins. Please, again, remember the option if you need to do it from your back along the floor. So it could be that you've got both dumbbells still, it could be that you're one dumbbell held across the hip bones. You don't want the dumbbell too far down your thigh, you don't want the dumbbell up over your tummy. It's right above the hip bones, so your weight is vertically above the glutes which are beneath it. All the while, zipping up core, glutes squeezing together,
Halfway
and tailbone tucking under. If you need to support the neck with the hand behind your head, absolutely fine, of course you can. Over time, by doing these, we do want the neck strength to grow, to build, to hold your own head. Good, keep the hips elevated, don't let them sag or sink, keep the tailbone tucked under.
Rest.
Oh, nicely done. Down we come. So spicy glutes there, clearly working those glutes. But we are now stretching them out as we work them. So we're building range.
Let's go.
Strength through range as well. Right, broad chest, core secure, stride backward into your reverse curtsy lunge. So we're back and we crisscross over slightly. You want to think front leg strong. The front leg is in control of the descent, and a slight sensation of glue the front heel
Halfway there.
into the floor. Doing your very best not to come backward with your body weight. Keep your center of gravity with your front leg, hinging the body slightly
10
forward
seconds.
over the front leg. Descend with control. Broad chest. Good job, you. Nearly there.
Rest.
And up you come. Lovely work. Another circuit ticked off the list. Don't need to go back there. Lots of glute work in there. Well done. We are resting.
Let's go.
So just catching the breath, grabbing a sip of water there if you need. Right, we have our final circuit coming up, and we're going to try and do it twice through here. This circuit has a lot of extension work.
Halfway there.
Think stretching work. So we're trying to build mobile, supple muscles and joints and tendons and ligaments and connective tissues, as well as strong
10
ones.
seconds.
Mobility is the concept of strength and flexibility combined, and I always make sure I put some mobility work within our workouts. It's really important. You don't want to become chronically tight over time, so extension work is important. Okay, we have a single-legged deadlift. It's sometimes called a B stance deadlift. We have one foot, a pigeon step behind the other.
Let's go.
The back foot, scoot it out so it's at hip width. Light on the back toe, hips back, hips forward. Hips back, hips forward. We are trying to feel a stretch in the back of the front leg. So it's the hamstring and glute here in the front leg
Halfway there.
that we want to be in a weighted stretch. You don't need to touch the floor with your weights. It's more about how far you can send the hips back with your body weight
10
glued
seconds.
into the heel of the front foot. We want to descend with control, with a long straight spine.
Rest.
Nice job, good. Same on the other side then. The back foot is a pigeon step behind the front foot. Slide the back foot out so it's at hip width. Broad chest, zipped up abdominals.
Let's go.
And then we hinge the hips back with your body weight in your front leg. Glue the front heel into the floor as you come forward with your hips. Feeling for, back, a stretch, a weighted stretch in the back of your front leg. The knees can be soft, they really do not need to be poker straight. And you'll find that your back knee is even more bent than your front knee. Again, just reiterating, you do not need to touch the floor with your weights. It's more about good old stretch in the back of your front leg. Light on your back toe. Core secure. And feeling the stretch
Rest.
in the back of your front leg. Good job. So we're coming wide with our footing now. And we did this in the warm-up, and all we're doing is potentially adding some weight to it. It's the side-to-side one. Remember this from the warm-up. Feet are wide, pretty much toes face the front. Then we're down one side, up to the top, down the other side, up to the top. Your chest stays tall and broad. You can have 2 dumbbells on the shoulders. You could have 1 dumbbell held across the top of the chest. You could be body weight only.
Halfway there.
Squat your bottom backward. That's it. And we're seeking out a stretch in the inseam of the leg and the inner hip of the straight leg. As you push up, check that your straight leg doesn't buckle in. So we want to be able to push all the way up with the bent leg driving that, rather than
Rest.
any buckling of your straight leg. Good job. Wriggling in your feet. Same duo last time, and then we're there, then we're stretching. So dumbbells at the ready. If you're using dumbbells, remember it could always be 1 dumbbell held end to end.
Let's go.
Your back foot. A pigeon will remind you not to put too much body weight into your back foot. You're thinking of creating a long, strong, straight spine from crown of head to tailbone. We're feeling talks to you, glue your body weight into the heel of your front foot as you come forward. Just check your toe is square to the front and your knee doesn't buckle in. Well done, you.
Rest.
Yeah, nicely done. So one leg down, one to go. So again, it's the back of the front leg. We're after a weighted stretch in that muscle. Toe a pigeon step behind and out at hip width. Broad chest, broad shoulders.
Let's go.
Zipped up core, hinging back. Take your time on that hinging back so that you can feel the stretch in the back of the leg, and you just wait for those muscles to tell you they're in a really good stretch before you send the hips forward. Every so often, just remind yourself
Halfway there.
to be light on your back toe. You want to hold the body weight in the front leg, and particularly in the heel of your front leg, to target the back of the leg
10 seconds.
to take on the load in this move. Remember the concept of no rounding of your spine, long, strong and straight in that spinal shape.
Rest.
Lovely job. Final exercise. Really nearly there, and then we're stretching. So toes square to the front. Dumbbells, it could be 2 dumbbells on the shoulders, it could be 1 dumbbell held across the front of the chest.
Let's go.
We're easing down and back one way to the top, down and back the other way to the top. Sitting backwards as if there is a sofa behind your bottom and you're trying to graze your bottom on that sofa. Good. As you do this, do glue your heel of your foot into the ground. So just check you're not
Halfway there.
entirely in the balls of your toes. Bottom squats back. Just sort of showing you side on. Bottom squats back as you descend. Tall chest. Now this means that the back muscles are working a little bit here, so to feel a little bit of back fatigue, I would expect. Core secure. Oh, well done you. Up you come. And we are done. Fantastic. So you've done all the hard work. Stick with me for a couple more minutes if you can, just to stretch out. We're coming down along the mat, elevating one foot to the ceiling. We are stretching out the hamstring here. Well done. Stretching as well just gives you a chance to not only look after the muscles, but also to bring the heart rate down, let the breathing steady, and regulate the central nervous system before you finish and you hop up to the next thing. The same leg, foot comes down and across the opposite thigh, ankle over the knee. You encourage the knee outwardly. That might be enough for you, or you could elevate the legs off the floor and hug around the back of the thigh or the front of the shin to draw the legs towards you here. Well done you. Just some nice deep breaths, checking you haven't held your breath. Sometimes a tight stretch, we find that we're holding our breath through it. Just keep that breath flowing. Well done. And then we're slip swapping for same duo, other side. Easing the heel gently upward, drawing the leg towards you. Just check you're keeping your tailbone down, your bottom is down on the mat. The leg doesn't need to be poker straight. You're seeking out a nice stretch in the back of the leg. A nice stretch, but not a nasty pull. Same leg, foot comes down and across the opposite thigh, ankle over the knee, knee out to the side, and then you could hug the other leg in, hands around back of thigh or front of shin, compressing the leg toward the torso. And again, a nice couple of big breaths in this stretch. Well done you. Please do feel free to repeat these stretches later on today if you feel you need. From here we are rolling up. Come up slowly. If you think you're going to get a head rush, do take your time. Final stretch here, holding on if you need, heeling towards your bottom. And you can sort of push the laces of your shoe back into your hand simultaneously to feel a bit more stretch in the quad. Check your leg is not wide, knee is just vertically beneath the hip. Fabulous. And finally, same on the other side. That's it. So well done you. You made it through another workout, ticked off off the list. Good job. I hope you're feeling proud of yourself and empowered and strong and energized, and you can take that with you onwards into your day to propel you through whatever else you have to tackle today. Please do let me know how you got on, and join me again soon. Well done. Bye-bye.